Hello, everybody. Welcome. So, um, I have a lot of material to cover this evening. And it has been hot, and I feel like it makes me more tired. But hi, welcome. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. I have slides because of course I do. Um, and I have tea because I'm like mostly fine, but my child gave me some kind of a thing I'm getting over. So if my voice is different, that's why. Hey everybody. I see lots of people in the comments. Um, so we're going to be doing well, number one, last month I hit my 6-year anniversary on YouTube, which is wild that it has been that long. So it was officially in June, but thank you. Hello. Thanks everyone. So for that, there's a lot of stuff I want to do. One is we're going to do a quarter two update. So I've got my reading stats for quarter two of the year. I've got favorite books of quarter two. And then I want to do an update on some different things, how finances are going, how spending is going, how my goals are going, and then just talk about kind of some housekeeping and some thoughts as I'm 6 years in and kind of where I'm at and things going forward. So we'll see if we can get through all of this. Um, Thanks everybody for being here. And yeah, thank you for all the congratulations. I appreciate it. Also, let me close Discord so that I am not getting weird notifications while live. All right. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a section of my slides and then I will pause to chat and look at the comments. Because otherwise, if I do it like throughout the whole thing, we're never going to get anywhere. And I don't know how long I'm going to last. We'll see. All right. So here we go. What to expect. Here's the order of what's coming. And for people watching this on replay, if you are not interested in stats or whatever, you can just skip to the things you are interested in. So we're going to start by talking about my reading stats for quarter two of the year. So that's going to be April, May, June. My favorite books of quarter two and honorable mentions that didn't quite get 6 stars, which is my favorites of the year, but that I really liked. Then we're going to talk about my 2023 goals. How am I doing on my goals? How am I doing on decreasing my spending on books? How are finances going? I had a big conversation at the beginning of the year about finances and financial goals for the year with the channel. So we're going to talk about that. And then I just generally want to talk about kind of as I'm reflecting on being on YouTube for 6 years and where I'm at in my life and like what I'm looking for, like what am I thinking? What are some plans going forward? What are some changes that might happen? All of that. Okay. So I'm going to get through stats and then I'll chat a little bit and we'll move on. So we'll kind of break it up this way. All right. Book stats, because you know I have lots of them. Whew. Yeah, 6 years, half of which you've spent keeping me sane. Beth, you have been a great comrade to have along the way. And I know there are people who've been with me for so many years of this, which is amazing. So thank you to everybody for being here. It means a lot. Okay, quarter two. So this is April, May, June. Books read 97. Yeah. Yep, that sounds right, I guess. 97 books total. Average length of book read in the second quarter was 318 pages. Total pages read was 30,911. This does include my audiobooks. Average pages per day is 339, which is great. That is right on target of where I want to be when I get close to 400. Probably something's wrong and I'm not coping very well with it. So like, right, 340 to 360 is kind of my sweet spot. Or has been. All right. Let's look at genres. No big surprises here. I am reading a lot of my favorite genres. So fantasy, romance, sci-fi, horror are making up the bulk of my reading. Fantasy and romance are always the top two. Fantasy is about 30%, romance about 25%. Things outside those genres is 18% of my reading. So, yeah, not surprising, but I'm reading what I like and I'm happy about it. Age groups, 68% of the books that I read in quarter two were for an adult audience. My middle grade numbers have really gone up, I think, because I've been reading more books to my kids at night and then reviewing those. Some children's books, some YA, but definitely the bulk of my reading for the last couple of years now, I would say, has been for adult audiences. Format, audio. Audio is a big one. 62%, about almost 63% audiobooks. It's what did I do before I listened to audiobooks? Because I did discover them a couple years into being on YouTube, and they've definitely been a game changer for me. Here's publishers. I just think this is interesting. There's a lot of variation in terms of who I'm reading from. I think the biggest chunk here is Macmillan because I read so many books from Tor. So 17.5% from Macmillan. Penguin Random House is a close second at 16.5%. But, a lot of different groupings kind of representation or being represented here, which I'm happy about. And my indie numbers are at about 11%. So that's great. Where are these books coming from? NetGalley. NetGalley is by far the biggest place that I'm reading. And this is because I have a problem and keep requesting books on NetGalley for a review. So 29% of the books that I read in quarter two were from NetGalley. I really should cut back, and I have not been cutting back. I've had a couple people ask me to do a NetGalley update video. I haven't done them because not that many people watched them. They didn't perform great last year, but if enough people were interested, I could do it. I have so many NetGalley arcs I need to read. Oh my gosh. I do get to them though eventually. What is my second biggest? Libro FM, 14.5%. I'm happy about that. They have increased the number of audiobooks they make available to influencers. So that's part of it. Also, I've just been trying to get more of my audiobooks from Libro FM instead of Audible because I want to spend less money supporting Amazon. And I've been very pleased with that. And I like their platform. I am still listening on Audible though. So part of it though is backlist books, like things that I bought in previous years. Some of it is new stuff, but a lot of it is not. Translations. Most of the books that I read are not translated, but I was surprised a little over 5%, about 5.5% of the books that I read in this quarter were translated, with Polish being the number one language. This is because I'm reading the Witcher series, which are translated from Polish. So that's cool. I really should read more translated works. Sometimes I make it a goal. And books for review. Like I said, I'm reading a lot for review. 51.5% of the books that I read in quarter two were for review. I think one of the things, and I didn't put this in my goal section, but at the beginning of the year, I was like, oh, I would like to decrease my review numbers to like 30 or 40%. Clearly, I'm not succeeding at that. They just need to stop publishing so many books that sound good. Isn't this the eternal problem? And I read in so many genres too. It's difficult. But yeah, so about half of my reading is books for review. The other half is, other things I want to be reading. Publication year this quarter. The earliest published work I read was from 1969. This was Patience and Sarah. We had a very wild live show for this for the first installment of our classic lesbian romance book club. The next one is going to be next month over on Ashley's channel. We went off the rails. It was really fun. YouTube is like limiting ads on it because we went too off the rails apparently, but it was a good time if you haven't seen it. And then as you can see, I'm reading a lot of current stuff. So a little bit of backlist, but 52% of the books that I read were published in 2023. So the bulk of what I'm reading, and which makes sense, right? Like half of my reading is for review, a lot of my reading is front list, but I am trying to read some older titles as well. Here's my star ratings for the quarter. My average was 4.1, which is really high. It was a great quarter in terms of ratings. I'm very pleased. I think I forgot to include DNFs in this list. I can quickly look at that and just tell you in case you're curious, like how many books I DNF'd in quarter two. Not that many. 5. 5. I had 5 DNFs in quarter two. So overall, I think I'm getting better at picking books that I'm going to like. I'm reading a lot of books that I'm enjoying. My average rating is unusually high. It's exciting. Not a lot of 1 stars. So I'll take it. Okay, then author demographics. I'm kind of breezing through this just because I have so much to talk about, and also I'm drinking tea because I'm hoping my voice is gonna hold up fine. But yeah. Country of origin. This isn't really a surprise to me. 68% of the books that I read were by American authors. It's really hard to get away from this. I do try to read books from authors from different parts of the world, and I'm doing some of that, but it is a lot of Western authors. It's a lot of what it's sent to me, gets marketed to me, and so yeah, like I do try to find other things, but it can be tricky to make it a lot. Race and ethnicity. I value reading books from marginalized authors, and this is something that I um try to do. Honey in the tea. Yes, there's honey and lemon in my tea, which hopefully will help. But talking for extended periods of time, it's just, and I'm better. It was a lot worse a couple days ago. It's fine. Also, I know I said I was going to wait till the end of this to say this, but hi, Michael. Thank you. I really appreciate this. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who's saying stuff. Yeah, so this was good. I'm aiming to read about 50% from Black, Indigenous, and person of color authors. That's what I was doing in quarter two. I am pretty consistent with it. I check in on it and I try to prioritize this because it's important. It's going well. I'm reading a lot of queer authors. About 31% were by openly queer authors, and this is just people where they are public about it. This does not include books with queer characters where the author is not necessarily queer or not openly queer. This is not almost over, no. Hey, Renee. Welcome. No worries. I have been reading more and more from trans and non-binary people this year, which I think is great. I don't know exactly if it's that I'm more aware of it or if there are more people being published, but I in quarter two I read over 10% by trans authors, which is high. Um, yeah, I'm not mad at it. I think some of this is I was reading for the Trans Rights Readathon in April, but yeah, just in general, I feel like that number has been going up. Here's author gender. Female is lower than usual, 63%. That's usually more in the 70s. Male is higher than usual, 26.8%. And then NB is 8%. So, yeah, these numbers are so interesting because they've definitely shifted, which, I guess is good. Like, we're getting a little bit more equity, I suppose, and where this is coming from. Disability, this is authors who I am aware of being openly disabled in some way, is 11.3% of the books that I read in quarter two. I do try to look for various kinds of representation in the authors I'm reading, the books that I'm reading. And yeah. Neurodiversity, 13.4%. Love it. Like, these are like large umbrella terms. I don't go digging for this information, but if I know an author because I follow them on social media or they talk openly about it or it's in the discussion of the book, that's where this comes from. Excuse me. All right. I am reading a lot of new to me authors. This number was higher than I expected. 47% authors I've never read from before. I feel like that's really high. Yeah, I didn't expect that. Okay, so hi, everybody. Um, mm, Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. Thank you, TikTok, for reading more trans authors and following those. Yes, TikTok has been great for that. I feel like there's also just more people talking about it and being more open about it, which is great. Man, I was like so hopeful too that I was gonna like get through this effectively, but we'll see. All right, we're gonna look at my favorite books of quarter two. I have some honorable mentions, and then the books that got 6 stars, favorites of the year. Okay, here are some honorable mentions. These are books that I really loved a lot. Alchemy of Moonlight, I've talked about. It is a queer retelling of oh, of course, I can't think of the it's like a classic gothic romance that not a lot of people have read, but I've read it. It's such a good retelling, and there's werewolves. I loved it. It was great. Silver Nitrate's about to come out. I love Sylvia Miranda Garcia. This is horror. It's got like cursed films and Nazi occultism in Mexico. It's great. Thank you. Yes, The Mysteries of Udolpho. That is the one. Alchemy of Moonlight is retelling Mysteries of Udolpho, and it is an excellent retelling. I loved it. Last Night at the Telegraph Club is queer historical fiction set in the 1950s, following an Asian American. Excuse me. Oh, jeez. Whew. We'll see if we get through all this. Asian American teenager who is discovering her queerness and coming of age during the Red Scare in San Francisco. It's incredible. I love this for you. That's so exciting. I would love to meet her one day. That would be fun. All right. Second set of honorable mentions. YA romance, that's adorable, her good side. Y'all, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through all the content I want to do. Yes, we could do we could do that path. I don't know why does this happen. I swear I go on vacation. My kid gets me sick. I can't make all the content. It's so hard. Like talking is what I do. Oof. Mm-hmm. All right. Half a Soul, loved it. Cozy fantasy, historical fantasy romance. These were my 6 stars in April. Yes, being sick in summer really does suck. It's the worst. Oh my god. I loved the fiance farce so much. It was so cute. Queer rom-com. It's sapphic. I've talked about Fourth Wing. I'm not going to talk about it more, but I had such a good time with it. Totally understand why Fourth Wing is not for everybody, but I've made a video about this. May. Angeline Booley, Warrior Girl Unearthed. So good. Her second book. YA Indigenous suspense. And I learned a lot from it about the repatriation of objects and ancestral remains. Okay, I might have to just like get through. Yeah, Rachel did not like Fourth Wing. I understand the criticisms, but I had so much fun with it. I'm obsessed with If You'll Have Me. It is the most adorable sapphic graphic novel, like romance. It's coming out in October. I seriously, it's amazing. I think what I'm gonna do is do the books and do a part two because I'm just my voice is like, no, we're not doing this. Oh my god. This. Yeah. Highly recommend if you can get If You'll Have Me. It's coming out in October. It's the cutest thing ever. The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School. It won so many awards for good reason. Queer YA. And then June was all about the queer horror for me. Both of these were incredible. I have a vlog talking about them. You should go check it out and read them. Like, amazing. Camp Damascus is about to come out, and it has me in a chokehold. It's amazing. Especially if you're like ex-evangelical or deconstructing, Camp Damascus. Amazing. Okay. Here are some stats on my favorite books of the quarter. I just found this interesting because I like stats. Um, yes, Lesbiana's Guide is amazing. It's super emotional. It does have a good ending. Yeah, I think Camp Damascus is really good. I'm glad that people it's like getting people's attention and more people want to read it because it's great. Um, okay. So here's where I'm gonna do a part two. I thought I would be better than this. Oh my gosh. Of course. But clearly, my voice does not want me doing a live stream yet. So, part one is like, and I'll update the title. Part one is the update on Q2 books, Fave's stats. Because my voice is failing me, yes, my kid got me sick. I thought I was better enough to like do this, but no, I guess not. I'll be back probably in the next day or two to do a part two. We'll talk about 6-year anniversary, goals, thoughts, how things are going. It'll go better. Thank you all for joining me. It has happened before. It's always when I have like a big live that I want to do that this happens. It has happened before. And I always am like too ambitious with it. So I'll drink my tea. Like I otherwise feel fine. It's literally just my voice. So it's fine. Thank you everybody. It will be yes. I'll be back. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you next time for the rest of the discussion. Bye.